What's up, everybody? What do you do if you want to sell your timeshare? Okay, I'm going to do a quick video here on my walk. That's the only time I have to do these things. So if you want to sell your timeshare, there's a specific process. Do not ever pay anybody who says they can sell it for you and then they charge you a fee up front of like $500 to $2,000. Don't pay those companies that say, hey, you own 8 RCI weeks or 8 interval weeks, and then you just give us access and we'll rent out your interval or RCI weeks. Because first off, you can't do that. So they're all full of BS. I actually worked for one when I was 21 years old. I didn't know it was a I didn't know it was a scam. And actually a few years ago I read like the timeshare resale scam is like one of the top scams in the United States. So you got to be super careful when you're going to try to resell your timeshare or sell your timeshare. There's a way to do it, but just don't pay any companies that call you and say, hey, we'll sell it or rent it for you, but you got to give us, you know, 500, 1,000, 2,000, whatever price they're trying to charge you. 98% of them is a scam. If you want to check out if any of those companies have called you, you can go to the Timeshare Users Group website, put in to like their search bar the name of that company, and it'll bring up a few threads of what's going on. Most of those companies they're getting better about arresting them and busting them, but still it's easy to shut down and set up a new company right away. So that's not a huge deal. Okay, so you're on vacation. You're in beautiful Costa Rica or Mexico and you bought this timeshare. Now you're stuck with it. Okay, timeshares are a good deal, but only if you use them and you use them all the time, or you know how to use them. And that's why I started this YouTube channel in my company, because a lot of people buy them and have no idea how to use them. I hated mine when I first bought it, mainly just because I couldn't get into anywhere I wanted to go. So let's see if that sun's a little, it's like right behind me. So if you're just wanting to sell it because you can't use it properly, you can read like my book or watch some other of my videos. That a little better. Watch some of my other videos on how to trade it, or because a lot of people, and then a lot of people can't get reservations that they want because you know, most people, you know, you pay all this money for this thing, like 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000, and you think you should just be able to call up and go, hey, I want to go to Orlando in June with my kids, like a month ahead of time. And it doesn't work like that. Usually, I mean, Marriott's probably your best bet. If you can afford it, Marriott's the best timeshare and you can actually get reservations. But all the other ones are a little hard to get, especially if you book within 60 days of check-in. So if one of the reasons you want to sell it is because you can't get the reservations you want, watch some of my other videos on how to use the waiting list. Because 9 times out of 10 you can get it on, or I don't know the exact statistic, but higher percentage of the time you could get the reservations you want by just utilizing the waiting list. Because most people cancel reservations. I think every resort and hotel have like a 20% cancellation. So if you're just not getting reservations you want, because if you try to sell it, you're not going to get anything for it, especially if you've bought it within the last 5 years. The only time good to sell a timeshare is after you've owned it for 10 to 15 years or more. That's when you could sell it and at least recoup half or most of your money. But if you're trying to sell it before then, it's tough, because the only people who go looking to buy a timeshare on the internet are other timeshare owners, and they're only looking for like the cheapest deal. So that's why you're not going to get the best price. You're finding other timeshare owners that are trying to get the best price on getting more inventory for themselves. So that's why they're tough to sell. Plus, like, you didn't wake up and buy a timeshare. You're like, oh, I want to go buy a timeshare, and nobody ever does. And look how many cars are on this little road. There's like 6 houses, but you didn't buy your timeshare on the internet, and most people don't either. So just thinking you can put an ad up on the internet with 5,000 other people who own the same place is just not gonna work. I mean, you can sell it, don't get me wrong, you can sell it, but there's certain steps you want to go through. First, go to eBay, type in the name of your resort group that you own, and see what the other people are selling it for. That'll give you a good barometer of what people are selling it for. Or go to redweek.com and see what people are listing it for on there. And then go to the Timeshare Users Group and see what people are listing it for on there, and that'll kind of give you a good idea of what you can get for it. Like, because I mean, Wyndham, great program. To buy 1 million Wyndham points, that's like the equivalent of 5 weeks. You probably pay somewhere like $100,000 to $150,000 for that, maybe $200,000 actually. I don't know. But you can, I've seen like 1 million Wyndham points on eBay that they will just give you if you take over the maintenance fees. So thinking you're gonna get a huge amount of money for it, first thing you do when you sell it, you gotta have realistic expectations. If it's paid off and you just wanna get out of it and not pay the maintenance fees, then just call whoever you pay the maintenance fees to. Don't call the front desk of a resort. Don't call the vacation counselors. You got to call like their mortgage services department or their homeowners department. And then usually you have to be the squeaky wheel. A lot of them have deed back programs now. I think Diamond does, Wyndham does, I think Marriott does. Most of the big companies have like some sort of deed back program now, but it has to be paid off. And there's like certain stipulations. Some of them they won't take back. Most of them they will. You can also, if you just want to get rid of it, the Timeshare Users Group has the bargain basement section. You can give it there for $0 or $1. It's also, if you're trying to buy more, you can buy more off of there for super cheap, or people just give it away, just pay the maintenance. So you can do that. Let's see if you okay, so you own it, you want to sell it. First, find out what everybody else is trying to sell it for. That'll give you a good idea. Okay, now your next part is you got to list it. Now, if you have one that you think is sellable, like Worldmark sellable, Marriott sellable, Westin sellable, on the secondary market, Hilton's probably sellable. I'm trying to think. The major ones are probably sellable, but the other ones, good luck. Good luck. Not that they're not worth anything, it's just hard to sell it that way. Like when they sell a timeshare, half of that money goes to the salespeople and the marketing department and the free gifts, because you have to pay, you have to get like 10 people on a presentation to get one person to buy. So it's not, and it's a product that's sold. People don't just wake up and want to buy it. Not that it's worthless, but it's just, you have to sell it a certain way. So if you own one of the major developers, you can go to the LTRBA, which is the Licensed Timeshare Resale Brokers Association, and they'll have like actual realtors or brokers on there that don't charge you anything up front, and they'll just take a percentage of the sale. And they'll have, I think you can put like your zip code or your area in there, and it'll bring up brokers that are even close to you. So you can choose them, and then they can sell it for you and take a 20-30% commission. If you have a higher end one like Marriott or Westin or something like that, you can message me in the comments or email us at support@timesharesimplified.com. Our website's timesharesimplified.com. We can refer you to a broker that we use, that we trust, that will actually sell it for you for a decent price. If it's paid off, I don't recommend selling it personally. If you have a point system, just like a self-promotion, a little self-promo here. Yeah, let this chubby Mexican guy in Tennessee, well, I used to be in Vegas, but we can rent it out for you. We rent out people's points. You don't get a ton over your maintenance fees, or maybe it covers your maintenance fee. Depends on which program you are. Sometimes it's 20% over, sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's a little bit less, but it depends on which company you own. We do all the major developers: Wyndham, Worldmark, Marriott primarily, Holiday Inn, any of the ones that are points we usually rent out. Just message us on our website, Timeshare Simplified, or email us, or you can text the number. He'll put everything in the description below. But if it's paid off and you're not going to really get anything for it, just let us rent it out every year. That way you still have access to it. And then if you do need it, or things change, if you're not paying a monthly payment, we can rent out, like if you own Marriott, I can rent out your 2024 points now in 2023. We just borrow them ahead in your account, rent them out for you, and then you can now just prepay your maintenance fees every year. So you don't have that cost anymore. You can prepay your fees, and then you still have it if you want to use it. I mean, obviously, unless you rented out all the points, but you can still use their like bonus time feature, or their cash discount, or on the year you did want to use it. Like, cause say you're just having like a bad year this year, or your income's down a little bit, or you had to buy a bunch of eggs, $8 for a dozen eggs. I moved to Tennessee. My neighbor has chickens, so it's like $5 for organic grass-fed. But so say something goes on, instead of having to give up this whole timeshare you paid like $40, $50, $150,000 for to get something out of it, you're better off just letting us rent it out. Or, you know, or if you have a other timeshare like Diamond or Holiday Inn, instead of getting nothing for it, we can rent it out for you. Then if you do want to use it, you just let us know, and you can still use it. Just say, oh, I'm not, or you just don't rent out your points that year and use it. But then if you're not going to use it, you just let us rent out your points, and that covers your maintenance fees. So you got that. That's another option too. Or you could, instead of selling it, you could try to rent it out yourself. So book like a prime week. So pick one of your resorts. Most of the resorts are in fantastic areas. That's why they put them there. So book it for a prime time. We don't do pre-booked reservations. Obviously, that's the way you make the most money. Like anything, doing it yourself, painting a house, you know, carpeting, do it yourself. It's kind of a pain in the ass to, hope this isn't a family-friendly timeshare video. It is a pain in the ass because people are a pain, but you can do it. Of course, book, you know, New Year's or Christmas in Orlando and rent it out during there. Post it on like Red Week or Timeshare Users Group or something, or the Facebook Marketplace. Then you got to collect the payments. You got to worry about them canceling, things like that. But it is possible, of course, and you would get more money that way. Just check the price of what they charge for those times. Take your maintenance fees and find somewhere in the middle and charge that price, and you should do all right. But you're not going to make it. But you can watch my other videos on how to rent it out. Let us rent it out, and what you can do tax-wise to offset all of your costs and bring you in net more than you would doing it yourself. So I have other videos on how to rent it out where you can do that. This one's on how to sell your timeshare. So first rule, go to eBay, see what everybody's selling it for on there. Timeshare Users Group and Red Week. Those are the most honest ways to judge what people are selling it for. You can also contact the brokers on licensed Timeshare Resale Brokers Association. Talk with them, see how much they think they could get for you after their commission. And then, okay, so contact them, see where they're at, and then make your decision. Do you want to try to sell it? You want to try to just give it back to the timeshare developers? If it's paid off, most of the time you can just give it back. Sometimes I heard it's a little difficult. They make it a little difficult, but if you're squeaky wheel, a lot of times they'll take it back. If it has a loan on it, now that's a whole other story. I do have two different guys that we deal with that can get you out of your loan, even if you have a Mexico timeshare. Major brands like Hilton. He just told me he got this lady out of a $150,000 Hilton loan. But with those guys, you do have to pay up front because people take advantage of those guys just like the other way around. They have you do all that work and then never pay you. So, but you can pay them with a credit card, so you're insured that if they don't get you out of your condo, then you can you know, file it with your credit card company, so you know they do what they're gonna say do what they're gonna do, something like that. But they'll do. So you can message us if you want us to refer you to somebody who can get you out of your mortgage. But that's a whole nother process because you have to get attorneys and stuff like that. But they can do it. They can get you out of any loan. They do charge a fair amount. I have one guy that doesn't charge that much. I haven't talked to him a little bit because nobody's brought it to my attention, but he always did a great job for a smaller amount. But I have a couple people we can refer you to if that's of interest to you, or I know you won't get taken advantage of, and they'll do what they say. So, okay, so that you could donate it to a charity. So you can go on the Timeshare Users Group, and there's charities you can donate it to. That'll take it off your hands. And I think that's about it. Some timeshare companies have a resale program. Some of them will buy it back. Like Marriott will buy your weeks back from you. You have to call their resale department, and then they'll tell you what they'll pay for it. You'll probably get more using my broker who would sell it for you than having Marriott just buy it from you. But if you want to just be simple, I think they're the only ones that do it. Maybe Hilton will. I think Hilton has a buyback program as well. And Wyndham, I don't think that one's they'll take it back if it's paid off, but I don't think they'll buy it back from you. But I could be wrong. They change stuff all the time. It's hard to keep up. They buy other companies, and like pretty soon it's gonna be one gigantic timeshare company that owns everything. But I think that's about it. Good luck. If you need anything, message us. If you want to just let us rent out your points so you don't have to worry about it, message us. We'll get you out the contract. We don't charge anything up front. We pay you up front. Stresses my payment lady out. We're sending out $136,000 this week. So, but we can do it quickly. We can get through your points pretty quick, unless for some reason we have a influx. Might take a month or two to get to you, but usually we can get through your points relatively quickly. All right. Let me know if you need anything. Take care. God bless.